A lack of communication is one of the biggest reasons why relationships fall apart. Take it from me. I know because I've been through it. Once you have those uncomfortable conversations with the people you love, everything just becomes more clear. Communication helps build trust and strengthens connections with your relationships. Like, say you meet someone new, and how could you ever build trust or connect with them if you don't talk to them, right? Communication helps prevent misunderstandings and it limits assumptions. It's funny because my husband, he told me this phrase one day. He's like, assuming it makes an ass out of you and me. And if you think about it, assume, ASSUME. I'm just like, where do you get these things? But it's so freaking true. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Miscommunication can lead to resentment and distance. And I feel this deeply because I have gone through this in the past year. My household, we never talked about feelings. My parents were immigrants and they only knew how to put food on the table, have a roof over our heads. They didn't know anything about talking to us about how we feel. They didn't know about communication at all. We just kind of lived through life, and if we hurt each other, then we just brush it off and move on and pretend it never happened. So growing up, we never had communication. And so me and this person, we grew up in those environments, which caused us to really not know how to talk to each other. And it really taught me how to communicate. It took me some time to. Maybe it had to take losing people in order to learn how to communicate, especially the people super close to me. I lost a lot of relationships in my lifetime, and I would say that it was 80% a lack of communication. That's okay, we all learn and we grow, and then moving forward, we just work on ourselves, we heal ourselves so that we become the bigger person. We truly never know what people are going through. That's why assuming is just no. A common miscommunication mistake is interrupting or not actively listening. Listening to respond and listening to understand are two different things. When you're just listening to respond, it's kind of like you don't really care what that person is really going through. You're just trying to say the next thing, trying to have the next say, the last say, or whatever. When you listen to understand, you see from their perspective and you try to understand it as if you were in their shoes, and then you help solve the problem together. Otherwise, when people want to talk about what they're going through, maybe they just want to vent and just be a listening ear. I'm sorry you're going through that. Let me know what I can do to help. Like simple stuff like that. You don't need to say, oh, it'll be okay. It's okay. Like, no, it's not okay. Another communication mistake is avoiding difficult conversations. Oh, we've had plenty of those. If someone said or did something that hurted you, of course, it's going to be a difficult conversation to have. Usually, what I did was I just brushed it off. You tend to kind of hold that inside of you. What if their intentions wasn't to hurt you and they just kind of said it on a whim or did it on a whim? And so that's why even the smallest things, you have to communicate about that, whatever you're feeling inside. Don't let it build up inside of you and let it go, because it's never going to be truly healed or solved if you don't talk to that person about it. Another common communication mistake is assuming the other person knows what you're thinking. This is toxic, all right? This is toxicity. If you expect them, that's also assuming. You expect them to do something for you, then you're gonna be disappointed. Have no expectations. Not everyone knows what you are thinking. Not everyone knows what you want or don't want. or whatever. That's why communication is so important. Like, for example, when women go on their monthly cycle, I want to be pampered and loved. And I told my partner that. I know it's an uncomfortable conversation. Like, why do I have to tell him? He should already know. No, he doesn't know. So I tell him, hey, I want chocolate. In the future, he knows. You kind of have to, you gotta communicate in that way. So a few ways to improve your communication is active listening. So listening, not to just respond, but listen to comprehend, to understand, and not cutting people off, okay? I know you want to say your part, but when a person is trying to express to you how they feel, why would you want to cut in? Unless you really don't care. So practice active listening. Just zip your mouth and use your ears. We have 2 ears for a reason, all right? It's to listen. Give your full attention and avoid distractions. If I was talking to someone and they're on their phone, I'd think that's rude. So giving your full attention, unless you don't care, then Another way to improve communication is expressing yourself honestly. Using I statements to communicate your feelings without blame. An example is when I told my partner he needs to check himself. Because, like, if he's in a mood, then I don't like that negative energy. So I'm like, go check yourself, because you need to go meditate. You need to go calm yourself down, because I was going through a lot. And so I don't need that extra negativity on me. And he thought I was blaming him. That was not my intention at all. And so I had to sit down with him and communicate and talk to him that, hey, it was not my intentions to make you feel like I'm blaming you. My intentions were, I just couldn't handle it, because I'm already going through so much in my life that his just added on to mine, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. I was at my breaking point. And so when he understood that, when he knew what I was going through, then he became a little bit more compassionate about it. He would always say, like, well, I'm just expressing my feelings. I'm just expressing how I feel. I'm like, great, but it's great that you're expressing how you're feeling and what you feel and everything. But if it's something very negative and it sounds like you're just complaining and it's really not going anywhere. If you're going through something, if you're upset about something, then let's talk about it. Let's sit down and talk about it. Don't just randomly blurt it out thinking that everyone and everything is fine, that they could just handle what you're saying. Everyone is going through their own things, and if you are putting this weight on another person to make yourself feel better, that's not how it works, boo-boo. That's why communication is so important, because if he knew what I was going through, he wouldn't have dumped a truckload of problems onto me. So now I openly express everything to him. Like, whatever I'm going through, even if it's hard, I just say it, because now it is repetition. It's a muscle that you have to do. Communication is a muscle. You have to keep practicing that muscle for you to be good at communication. In communication, everyone's feelings are valid. Even if they don't make sense to you, it makes sense to them. We agree to disagree. And it's not because we don't care. It's because you believe what you believe in and I believe what I believe in. And that's just the way it is. People cut off friendship because of controversial topics. That is toxic, because both of you are not open to agreeing that you guys are not gonna agree on the same things. Like, lack of communication right there. It's okay for everyone to have their own opinions on things. Relationships are not perfect, but strong communication makes it worthwhile. When we take the time to understand and be understood, we strengthen the connection with the people we care about most. Okay, my client just walked in, so I'm about to go do her lashes now. But I would like you guys to comment down a communication experience that you guys went through and what helped you. So Thanks for watching, everyone.